Okay guys, welcome back to another video on the channel today. Today we're going to be driving the Porsche 911 2017 RSR, the new car that came with the update if you had the Porsche Volume 3 pack. So this is taken from an online session, a qualifying session, then we'll go through the setup after the race, and we're going to go through a quick track guide anyway for this lap. Looking for the 150, we're going to brake just before the 150 with traction control on the weakest setting at this point. Going down through the gears, just be careful not to lock the tyres up, obviously that's why I brake a little bit before the 150. Taking the traction control off just before we come out the exit of that corner, and making sure the brake balance is on 64.5 for the start of this lap, and then looking to brake just as we go under the Kunos sign above us. You see it just up ahead now. We're going to brake just pretty much just a fraction before you see that, going down through the gears, down into second gear, and then nice and early into that apex and hard on the power as you come out the exit. That's why we want to brake a little bit before, because you don't want to brake late for that corner. You're going to lose a lot of time on the exit. Braking down into third gear for the first Lesmo, keeping it nice and tight on that inside, hard on the power, using a little bit of curve on the exit, into fifth gear, and then back down to third gear just before the 50, hard on the power on the exit there. Just be careful. Let's see how we lost the back end slightly, we lost maybe a tenth or so, and that's probably maybe a tenth to 2 tenths we lost there. It's quite important to make sure you get a nice exit from that so you build up the speed going down to this next corner. Putting the brake balance back down to 64%, braking down as we go on that sign into third gear, use some of the curve on the left. You can be really aggressive with this setup. Into fourth gear, and again skimming the apex of the curve, use some of the curve on the right, hard on the power, and then putting the brake balance back up to 64.5% for the final corner. It just avoids the back end swinging out on you slightly, and then you're going to lose time. So looking for the 100, braking just after the 100, going down into third gear. We slightly miss the apex of that corner, but we still managed to get the power on at a reasonably okay point, maybe losing half a tenth to a tenth, and then going over the line for a 1 minute 47.5. So that wasn't obviously the ultimate. This is taken from my first test online, first qualifying. We've since done a 47.2. There's a potential lap of a 46.9, but it would have to be absolutely, have to be near the limit on every corner, and I'm not sure if I'd be able to do it. Maybe for practice, if it was for a league race and you're practicing the track every day, I'd probably get into the late 46s. But in terms of just going on a 47.2 to 5, I'm really happy with. It got me pole by a fair, I think it was over 7 tenths or something like that. So it got me pole fairly easy. The guy behind me was very fast though. I don't think he actually hit his best lap in the qualifying, but you can see now we got away reasonably well off the line. We had traction control, I think we had it off for the start of that, and then just made sure we put it back onto the weakest set and then back off again as soon as we come out that corner, just to make sure we obviously get a nice clean exit from that first chicane. And then it was just about trying to build up a little bit of rhythm, but we braked a little bit late here. You can see obviously with the brakes being probably not up to maximum temperature, we ran a little bit wide and lost a bit of time there. You can see right up on our backside there, you see in the onboard rear view mirror, he's caught up a fair bit. And then I think we actually made a little mistake on this second Lesmo. We've not obviously got the maximum consistency yet. This was our first attempt using the setup. You can see we went a little bit loose there, but luckily I think he made a similar mistake. But on the race that I've done since, when I hit my 47.2, we had our consistency spread very nice. Annoyingly I didn't record it, and I'd already edited this video anyway, so I wouldn't have probably gone back and done it because it takes me a fair bit of time to edit these videos. So like I said, yeah, the spread in times, I think the best lap we did on the other race we did was a 47.7, and it went up to a 48.2 I think. But we had no one challenging us in that race, so I could just concentrate on driving reasonably hard without a challenge, because I think the nearest person behind was a good 15 or so seconds behind, because I think I think someone had made a mistake on the first chicane and it caused a bit of a pile up, so we were clear out on the front, so I had nothing to worry about. Whereas in this race, obviously with someone that close behind us, I didn't want to push 100% in case we made a little error, and then lose us a lot of time and he could get past us. So I was basically just trying to keep it clean. I knew the setup we were running was reasonably good in a straight line. It might not have been as best as it could be, as fast as it could be in a straight line, but what we've done, we've gone for a reasonably fast straight line speed, but with good cornering ability as well. So you can really see on the exit of corners and on mid corner where you can gain a little bit over the guy behind. Down the straights, I'm not sure if he was actually gaining a bit. If he was, it wasn't very much, if anything at all. So So you can see we were just trying to just basically keep the gap over a second so that he had no chance of making an overtaking move. I think if I really wanted to at this in this race, I could have gone a lot harder and probably built up a 3-4 second gap, but there wasn't really much point. Your race is only 7 seconds long, so if you make a mistake, you've lost the race. You're not really going to get back past someone as fast as the guy behind us. So in my view, it's better just to keep the gap around a second and just concentrate on keeping it smooth and keeping yourself in the lead. So you can see we're able to attack the curves really well in the race also. No issues. Obviously running just 7 laps on this race. The fuel weight doesn't really, you're not going to need to raise the car up in terms of ride height, but I think if we do any racing in the future where the laps are a lot higher for league racing, etc., we're going to have to consider raising the ride height up when you add fuel in. I've tried it out a bit, and you probably need to raise the ride height up slightly on these setups if you're going to add like maybe 80 litres of fuel in, etc. You can see there we got a guy coming out of the pits. I don't know if he had a stop and go or what's going on there, but I don't even know if he'd been in the pits or he was just waiting for us to go past to try and race us. I'm not too sure what he was doing, but I wasn't sure if he was going to pull over. Anyway, you can see we're coming to the end of this lap. The lap 2 we did a 48.2. This lap's a 48.5. It's not a brilliant lap on this lap, but we've got the gap behind us. You can see we've got a big enough gap not to be pushing 100%. And then we go over the line on a 48.6. I think this lap. I think we had a slight error on that lap. Wasn't the best lap. You can see he's actually gained a bit on us there. So I think this lap is where I thought I need to push a little bit harder, just so he knows that if I want to, I can actually build a slight gap up without making a mistake. I didn't want to push too hard, but I pushed hard enough just to make him realise that I had more speed in the car if I needed. It's something I do like to do because you know, if he's starting to push and get ideas, he might try and pull a move off if he gets too close to us. So I just wanted to just keep that gap over a second long, just keep ourselves safely in the lead. So you can see we've already got a bit more of a lead from the second place person there, purely from the exit we got from that first chicane, and we did the second chicane really well as well. We've got a comfortable lead again, but we're going to carry on pushing for this lap, and I think at this point I knew I was up on the 48.2 by quite a bit, so I thought I'd just try and get my lap into a 47, just so I show for the sake of a video, because I knew at this point I was probably going to use the footage. I thought I actually clicked the record button, but I hadn't. Luckily I saved the replay, so we took the footage from the replay. But you can see we've got a nice comfortable lead now. The lap's been a really nice lap for in the race at this point. Obviously we're running the soft tyres for the race and qualifying for this setup. We will have a talk about that on the setup part of the video. I've found that the super soft tyres have potential to be faster in qualifying, but it's not for me. They're a little bit more with the heating up of the tyres. It's a little bit more tricky to get the time out of them, although they have got more potential. I just find it easier to use the soft tyres in qualifying, and the car feels a little bit more stable, not so aggressive in the corners, and it just feels a little bit more manageable. You can see we go over the line on 47.8, so we've built quite a big gap up there. You can see the guy behind us, I think he actually starts to try and push a little bit too hard on this lap, as I think in general he was racing a lot harder than what we was. I feel like I was racing more within myself than what he was, so I could see that as well in the mirror. I could see he was making the odd mistakes coming out of the exit corners, and so you can see now we've got, it must be about a second to a second and a half lead, and we're just trying to keep it comfortable. We're gonna, I think at this point I thought I've got me 47.8, so I'm not going to push 100% now. Not that lap was 100%, I'm not going to push maybe as hard. I think that was like pushing about 95%, so this lap we'll be just settling back down to about 90%. But we've got a bit of a rhythm going now. Once I hit a good lap, I kind of get into a bit of a rhythm of me driving, and you can see we've pulled out. We actually used a lot of the exit curb there, but we got away with that, and we're still on for an okay lap at this point. You can see in the mirror now, keep your eye in the mirror, and I think that he makes a mistake on this fast chicane now, as I think he's pushing a lot harder than what we was. You're going to see his car didn't seem as settled over the curbs as mine. I was able to attack the curbs, and on this second part you can see, if you look in the mirror now, you can see he bounces over that and he's lost the back end and he's into the barrier. His car seemed a lot stiffer and lower than mine from what it looked like in the mirror. I was noticing he was running wide a lot of the time out the corners, as if the curbs was unsettling the car, and then he was having to like counter steer and it was pushing him wide in a lot of the corners. So maybe his car was set up a little bit too low, and ours was just set up a little bit better, as we were able to attack them curves really well. I think we go over the line on a low 48 again now. So we go over the line on a 1 minute 48.1, another okay lap. Nothing special, but we're just trying to keep it consistent. And then the last lap, we're going to go over the line. I think it's again a very low 1 minute 48. So we go over the line, and that's a 1 minute 48.1, I think, again as well. So you can see once we had hit our fast lap, we just kept it consistent, kept it clean, and we built up the lead. And I think he pushed a little bit too hard, but it was an easy win in the end because he made that mistake, and we just kept our head without pushing too hard. But like I say, there is more potential. I think you can run every lap in the 1 minute 47s with this car if you really wanted to. But then I think you'd have to be, if I was practicing it for like every day for a league race, etc., I'd probably be able to run 47s pretty much every lap and maybe squeeze a 46 out of this setup. But the setup feels really good, feels easy to drive, and we're going to go through it now. So gearing, we've got the gearing set pretty much how perfect, I'll say, in a way. I did try changing some of the first and second gears around, but I actually found it was losing me out in other places on acceleration, so I kept with that setting we've got there. Tyre pressure is quite low for this track. Obviously, we're running the soft tyres. This car's 4 variations of tyres, so a little bit 18 and 18 felt pretty much right for this. If you're going to run the super soft, just up it to 20. I found 19 or 20 for the qualifying session, but I just preferred running the soft tyres. Anyway, traction control we had off. Obviously, fuel's just varying depending on how many laps you're doing. See there, traction control off. Aero, I think we had 1.4 on. Yeah, 1.4. Default I think is 3.7 or something like that, but 1.4 gives you that front end grip for the corners and just enough on the rear to stop the back end sliding around too much. Camber's reasonably low on the front, toe quite low as well for the speed. We had to up the toe slightly on the rear just to settle the rear out down through the corners. The bumps I don't think we altered too much on the bumps, but we moved the rebounds up slightly to match each other just so that it kept the back end from losing the back end on the fast change of direction on that last chicane. That's what might have helped us out also over the other guy on the setup. Ride height, we think we slightly upped the ride height also compared to the default. We can see the brake power as well. We actually moved that down slightly to stop it locking up so easily, and the brake balance 64%, but obviously we moved that up manually to 64.5% whilst we're racing. Looking at the other settings now, we just wait for it to click on. I think it actually starts the race in a minute and it will go on to the other screens, but you can see there, like, it's just starting the race, so we just got to wait for it to go through. And you can see roll bars, we had 6 and 2 on. I did try higher on the roll bars on the front, but I found it just seemed to unsettle the car a bit too much. 6 and 2 felt really nice. Ride height, you can see there how we've got the ride height. That felt really nice for this track. I didn't really want to go any lower than that because it started unsettling the car. I think I did try 12 and 15 and it was just too low, but 14, 18 felt pretty much perfect. It maybe could go up one more click, especially if you're running more fuel. Consider if you've got a heavy fuel load, you might want to go up 1 or 2 clicks on the front and rear. With regards to travel range, I don't think I adjusted too much on the travel range from the default. If I did, it was very slight adjustments. It wasn't anything major. But that setup should do you very well for a base setup on the PC version. Once the console version comes out, I will be getting this car set up for the console version as well. And we'll be back soon with a console setup as well, as I haven't done a console setup for a bit. Been doing some PC setup, but I've already done another console setup. We've got the Zonda R setup for the Red Bull Ring. That's done and completed. I've just got to edit the video, so that'll be out very soon on the console side. And then I'm probably going to have a look at the Maserati GT4 around Imola for the online setup. Anyway guys, I'll leave you with the rest of this video watching the car go around the track. It sounds really good. I think they've nailed the sound effects on this car pretty much perfectly, and I'll let you guys listen to this as it goes around the track. Anyway guys, Make sure you subscribe for more of these videos, and make sure you give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this video, and leave any comments with regards to this setup, and I'll have a look at them, and if anything you're finding with the car, I'll maybe suggest something for your driving style. Remember, not every setup is going to suit every driving style. Some setups will not suit other people's driving styles. Driving styles are very individual, so just bear that in mind when trying out the setup. Thanks again for watching, guys.